came from the transfer that was made going back to when the election was done in 2012 or whenever that was. The one you're talking about up above, where PBC Home for the Aged, that was the one, I believe, that got split out from the general fund for a year, but then put back in. Would that be right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, that's the appropriation.
yep.
Is up there.
Yep.
But this capital project fund, the question that we have is that PBC was here earlier. And, like there are improvements that are needing to be made to the premises. And so are these monies, because this is a multi-year capital improvement fund, that could be used for that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Any type of improvement that they would need.
So this
done.
is basically a capital improvement reserve
Yeah.
that was built
Yeah.
up because the equivalent of $6 million was not taken over several
Yes,
years.
correct.
But it was made up for and put into this fund.
Correct.
So we've got those monies for those
Yep.
improvements.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, back on that, when they're asking like up to 6 mils, if they don't use that all, I think they were asking if that money could be put.
Yeah, and that's what Eddie had asked me out in the hallway, and I would assume that would be at the discretion of the commissioners. At the end of the year, you could do a resolution to transfer any remaining amount that was not used to the capital improvement fund to be used for them.
I think that would be the avenue we want
And I
to
think,
take.
I think that, yeah, it makes sense to me. It's never been an issue before because I think it's always been used up.
Yeah, we never had
so,
any.
so,
Right, but I mean, there's quite a sum in
Yeah, I
this
see
improvement
that.
fund as it is.
Yeah,
So,
and-
with that
Well,
discretion.
that was in,
I was just say, yeah,
18.
18. There's some
so
stuff.
that was used up about all of that.
Okay.
when they
But we're
built- when they-
anticipating there's going to be some
Yeah.
this year, so.
Yeah, but the year-end balance.
Yeah, I don't know what the current.
For 18, but 19,
Yeah, I don't know the last
I don't know.
9 months what the balance would be currently on that.
Yeah.
You might be right. I don't know.
So where does the money come from to make is it a bond that we're paying on for the assisted living,
For the bill.
for the bill?
That's a milled levy. Or a certified levy.
Yep.
Sorry, certified mill levy of 6 mils was for the bill. So that's already, this is the appropriation. This is the
Right,
equivalent of, yeah.
Well, where does that show?
Oh, let's see here if I can find it.
Is it just inside the general?
No, there was a separate fund set up, I know, to accumulate the money to make which technically, the way it's set up, the county makes a lease payment to the Public Building Commission. The Public Building Commission makes the actual bond payment, but it's kind of splitting hairs there. Okay. And I can't remember if that was maybe the intent with the capital improvement fund too, with that balance in there, if that was accumulating money to pay those bonds. I'm not sure I can answer that today. I know it's built into the budget to accumulate money to make the bond payments. Because what's actually in the general fund, I know that's just the operating money that is being levied.
Well, because we kept the equivalent to in
The
the
levy.
general.
The levy fund, isn't that supposed to be making the bond payment?
Yeah, yep.
So
Yeah,
that'd be
what's
the-
capital improvement is just.
The PBC
money
Home
set
for the Aged, I
aside.
think, is.
Yeah, there you go.
For
Yeah, that's,
keeping
okay.
up
Yep, I was
with-
mistaken. That PVC Home for the Aged, that's the one that's the levy to,
That's the levy.
Yep.
283,000.
yes, yep, that would be, that's right.
And then the capital improvement one is for keeping up the facilities.
So capital project fund zone for the agent,
Yep, that's the one that's
multi-year capital improvement.
for the future improvements.
Okay.
So,
Why is rural healthcare still in here?
but that was as of 2018, and the transfer to close it out wasn't done until 2019.
Oh, because I thought we had done all that in 2008.
No, because it was late enough in the year when I'd gotten the agreed upon procedures done related to it. That was October, November. It's late enough in the year. It didn't happen before the end of the year. The transfer back to the general. So that was done here in 2019, I believe. So that will be gone next year. Oh, yeah. Any other questions at all on any of that? Not all can move on. There on page 6 is just the notes to the financial statement. Most of those are just standard required by the state law to be included. First one there, page 6, 7, and 8, or just 6 and 7, I guess, is the summary of the accounting policies and budget laws and all that type of thing, and just how everything operates. Page 8, note 2, this is where we get into the only issues that we did find. The cash basis violation, bridge building fund was still negative $424 as of the end of 2018, and tax foreclosure was negative $8,050. I believe tax foreclosure fund transfers made to bring that back positive in 2019. I'm not sure about bridge building, if anything's been done there. And then the budget compliance, hospital fund was over budget. We'll look at that here in a second. Basically, all that was the money was more coming in than anticipated, and so when it's distributed, it just caused it to be over budget. And then special parks and rec fund was over budget. Okay, note 3 is
Money we gave to the fair board?
yeah, $8,000
$8,000.
payment to the fair board.
But
How did that happen?
They were showing more than that.
It was
in
showing
it.
more than that.
When they moved,
Yeah.
Yeah, the printout we got from the treasurer's office showed that there was more money in there than.
Yeah, there was enough money. It just didn't have the budget authority, but there was enough money to
Oh.
make the payment. So, I think we can look at the detailed page.
Where do you come up with the budget authority for that? Because I didn't know there was any.
It's just included in the county budget. It's not a levied fund, but it is included as a budgeted fund. In the,
It is?
yep.
So we need to budget it if we're gonna spend it.
Typically, the issue being, when I looked at it was, in 2018, for some reason, there's like twice as much liquor tax coming in, because that's what funds the money. For some reason, it doubled that year. So that's probably the reason the budget wasn't set high enough to expend
Well,
it.
we don't even set a budget, so.
Well,
Why-
it's done as part of the budget
It
process.
just shows the
John
special alcohol tax.
John does it, yeah. So, typically what we do in those funds, since they're not tax levy fund, is set it high enough to include the beginning cash balance and projected revenue to be able to expend that full amount in a year. And like I said, with the liquor tax being significantly more than was anticipated, it just wasn't budgeted high enough. So, I mean, it's, in my view, not a significant issue. It's just, and like I said, it's where it's not tax levy fund, sometimes it kind of goes under the radar and you don't notice it. So. Note 3, deposits and investments, it says balances of deposits, the statutes that govern the deposit activities of the county, and that all of it was covered either by FDIC insurance or otherwise secured through the banks. Okay, note 4, page 9 is the note regarding capers. a description of the plan, the total contributions made by Cheyenne County as the employer were $163,736 for the year ended December 31st, 2018. And then the last part is regarding the net pension liability. This is the amount that Capers hires a firm to calculate the unfunded portion of the Capers liability. And then what they do is they calculate the total amount for Capers that's underfunded and then allocate it to the various entities based on their total employees and total contributions and that type of thing. So anyway, Capers is allocated and determined that the county's share of this unfunded liabilities as of the end of 2018 was $1,305,786. At this point, that's nothing more than just an accounting requirement that we're required to include now. Theoretically, it'd be the amount that if Capers had to fully fund their guaranteed retirement benefits at this point, that would be the amount that Cheyenne County would be liable for, essentially. Note 5 is just about a defined contribution pension plan. 6 is any other liabilities the county has, which nothing significant there. Note 7 is the operating transfers that were made during 2018. These were approved either, by resolution and also by budget authority. Note 8, that changed a little where the county changed to K-Work and K-Camp. That's just kind of description of how that works.
Brian?
Yeah.
Can you back up on the transfer? Because these are still pending, and they be approved, or when will that be done?
Oh, yeah, they can be made anytime. I was thinking, had you not made the transfers yet? I was thinking back there around budget time that maybe they were made.
Travis sent me a proposal, but I've
Okay.
never heard anything from that period.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, they were approved to be made as of that point.
Okay.
So, yeah.
The resolutions were done at the end of the year.
Right,
for the
right, and
transfers
then,
to be made.
right, and then
So-
all we do is just calculate,
But my understanding was that the commissioners had to approve it from the budget.
generally, they're presented with the transfer amounts, based off the actual numbers, and then approved, so, yeah,
I
they're,
just am not following and knowing the procedure, I guess.
yeah, and it's kind of gone back and forth on that over the years, I guess, because I know when at one point, you guys were making some of them before we did the audit, and either way is fine with us. The only thing is if you make the transfers and then you don't have enough budget to,
I just need to know,
Yep.
and I need to make them.
yep, okay,
Can't flip-flop around and.
Yep, yep,
Just
and that's-
need to be told,
Yep.
I'm not gonna take the responsibility.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna make the transfers now, because they weren't supposed to be.
Yep.
So, I just need to be
Yep,
told
okay.
when to make them. Because it seems to be different every year.
Okay. On page 11, note 9 would be any claims and judgments that exist against the county, which we didn't note any. And note 10 is regarding the landfill closure and post-closure costs. The trust fund's been set up and the funding that is being made by the county each year to cover those costs. The payment made to the trust in 2018 is $48,280, and the balance in the trust fund as of the end of 2018 is $409,069. That's all calculated based off projected life expectancy and projected cost to close it. Note 11, this is just about the Home for the Age project, the total authorization and total expenditures as of the end of 2018. Then note 12 is where we would include anything that happened after the end of 2018 through today, which would significantly impact 2018, which there's nothing there. So, all right, page 14, Schedule 1. This is the comparison of actual expenditures to budget. As we discussed before, the only two that were over budget were the special alcohol and hospital funds. The rest were under budget. Then the remainder is the supplemental schedules. These are each fund, the actual and budgeted numbers for the detailed receipts and expenditures. Let's go through them real quick here. And feel free to slow me down if there's any specific one you want to discuss. But page 15 is the general fund receipts for 2017 and 2018, a comparison between the two, and then the budget for 2018. The receipts were quite a bit over what was actually budgeted. A lot of that was sales tax coming in, and then a lot more interest income than what was budgeted were some of the significant differences. And on page 16, we start into the expenditures for the general fund. Here again, 2017's presented for comparison purposes, and then 2018, the actual and budget numbers and the variance for each. So.